Good morning, everybody. Good to have you here. Welcome to our North American Leadership event. Good to have you here. We have a great morning plan for you, and I'm excited to share it with you. Is Curtis here? Curtis Johnson in the house. Let me look.
Yeah, I'm here.
Where are you? Coming up on stage, buddy. Come on up, wherever you are. There you are. Now look at him proudly wearing that icon badge. What a beast. Come on up here. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Do you have a good 4th of July?
Yeah, I was good. We're out in San Diego for a little bit, and it was awesome.
Oh, man, can't go wrong with San Diego. That's awesome. Well, today I wanted to interview you because you have done pretty well. In fact, just so everyone knows, you're from Phoenix, Arizona, right?
Yep.
And how long have you been in EXP now, for people who don't know you?
Almost 2.5 years.
So 2.5 years. We call that darn near a rookie at any company. And
Yeah.
So how many people have you personally sponsored on your front line?
My front line is 60 or 61.
Okay, 61. And then that led you to what, 600? How many you got in your group?
Just hit 2,600 this morning.
Oh, I forgot to add 2,000. My bad. That was a softball pitch. So 2,600. Okay, everyone out there or out in the chairs, imagine having 2,600. Now there's also a 90-day lag as people come in. It takes them 2-3 weeks to make a sale, 30-40 days to close, another 30 days to get revenue share. It's a 90-day lag. So his group is running about 90 days behind. So his revenue share is very small. But how much is your revenue share going to be this week? You get paid this Wednesday, the 22nd. What's your monthly revenue share that flows every month? How much is that?
It'll be the highest ever, 153,000. It's kind of crazy.
Woo! That is pretty awesome. Can your wife budget okay on that, Curtis?
She's pretty excited about it. Yeah.
Have you ever did anything that just created monthly cash flow that's growing exponentially like this ever in your life?
Nothing even remotely close. I've been in the business almost 22 years, sold almost 6,000 homes, and this will be the biggest net month ever as far as putting money in our pocket.
Awesome. So quick question. This is a profound question. So today, how much do you get paid for selling 6,000 homes over the past 20-something years? How much do you get paid today for the activity, effort, energy, travel, all that went into that? What do you earn today?
Nothing on those, right? Those are, I've already got those. They're already spent. And so
the
nothing, I mean, I've got some plaques.
Yeah, plaques, trophies, all that. They switched to glass to make them look cooler. So, I have the same stuff. Now, in 2.5 years, you sold 6,000 homes, but in the last 2.5 years, you sold 60 agents on, hey, come to EXP, give it a shot. I don't know if it'll work, but let's work together. I'll help you. And that has led to 2,600. And then today, what do you think you'll earn in the next 12 months from those 60 sales? Not 6,000 sales, the home sales, but the 60 agents you sold on giving EXP a shot. What do you think you'll earn in the next 12 months?
Wow. I'm hoping it'll be close to 2 million, but I don't know. We'll see. It's pretty crazy. It's every time I've made projections, I've been short. It's exceeded it.
Now, I know you're not going to do this, but let's say you took the next 30 days off. You literally just took your wife, your kids. How many kids you got, Curtis?
3 boys.
3 boys. Take your wife and your 3 boys, and you rented a 37-foot motorhome, and you go, we're going to go to the Grand Canyon, we're going to go to the Grand Tetons, we're going to go to the Grand Caymans. Anything with the word grand in front of it, you're going to go because it must be awesome. And the Niagara Falls, whatever. You just go, the presidential monuments of Lincoln and Washington and all those guys, you're going to go see the world, right? And take a month. What do you think you'd earn in the next 30 days if you did work? You think it'd be close to 150,000 again?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty close there. The reality is I've never worked less on my real estate business than what I've done the last few months, and I've never made more, which is, it really kind of makes me a little uncomfortable, but I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, someone who's been doing this about a year longer than you, I am used to it. It is wonderful. We swim, we put on Hawaiian music, we plan trips. It's great. So I still work. I really don't start work most mornings now until 11 a.m. Why? Why not? Anyways, and then I'll work till about 5, and I take Fridays off. I only do this Monday through Thursday. I love it. I love what I do. It's so rewarding. But you literally can have the freedom. So the big thing is, what do I got to do to figure out this sponsoring thing? And I reckon it to listings. You've been in real estate long. You typically start with buyers. I know I did. I kind of mastered the whole buyer thing and the open house thing. Did you start with listings when you were brand new, Curtis, or did you start with buyers?
I started with buyers.
Yep.
Well, I really just started with anything that would talk to me is really what I started with.
Anything that would move. If it flies, it dies. You want to buy something, I'll sell it. So I got good at that. Then I got to the point where I wanted listings. I'm like, well, how do you get listing leads? And what do you do at a listing presentation? How do you get them to sign the listing agreement? And how do I get them to price the home right? And how do I be a strong leader and be polite, professional, but have them love the process? And there's a whole kind of process you go through to become a listing agent, right, Curtis?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's the famous saying about listings? Do you remember it? And you may not know.
If you list, you last, right?
You got to list the last. And what does that mean? It means you got to last what? A year or two? No, you got to list the last. If you want to stay in real estate and not get blown out by the grind, you better become a listing agent so you can just last. You can go 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. You can last. How about finish? There's no, if you got to list to finish. There's a finish line. Like I told my wife, I go, baby, in 2 years, I'm going to probably do a lot less than I'm even doing now. And she looked at me and she goes, why? She goes, you don't work that hard now. And so it was funny. I go, okay, maybe I will do longer than 2 years, but I mean, how much is enough? But really, it's like, here's the answer to that. It's not how much is enough. It's when do you want to stop changing lives? When do you want to stop making a difference and giving hopes to agents and all this? So here's the deal. I got frustrated with listings, and it took me 2 years to figure it out. But man, when I figured it out, I think, well, you and Curtis figured out the sponsoring thing real quick. Yep. We both put over 25 years in, and we darn well deserved to figure it out real quick. We'd been doing it a long time. Well, I don't know as many people. Yep. So it might be a little harder for you. Instead of 2.5 years, it might take you 5.5 years. Who cares? But I know this, Curtis will fight for you. I will fight for you. Glenn Sanford, Jason Guessing, Dave Kennord, people in your sponsor will reach out. But you got to fight for you. You got to look in the mirror and say, I am the problem. I am the solution. And your mindset, your attitude, and so people love you and they're going to be excited to hear what you're going to say. And then you put in massive action. That's Tony Robbins. He'd be like, now let's go talk 30, 40, 50 people a day. Curtis, remember that movie In Pursuit of Happiness?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great one.
Will Smith played the guy, and he was calling on 2 phones at once and trying to get in 50, 80, 100, 200 calls a day. And he became so successful, they made a movie about him. But he underwent great stress and great suffering to succeed. So you guys, what makes you cool is that you will suffer. And through the suffering, now short-term pain, long-term gain. When I suffered to become a listing agent, that just made me, I got a list to last. When I suffered to learn how to sponsor, and yeah, it was easier for me because people say, well, you're Curtis and Brent, you're overnight successes. Really? It was, for me, I got into sales when I was 19, I'm 54. So you do the math. I can't even count that high, 35 years. I was a 35-year overnight success. How about you, Curtis? What was your overnight success number?
Yeah, I don't know. I started selling stuff when I was 11, but I tell you, this is, the point you're making is true that you do have to put in the hard work, but let's get real. This is the easiest thing there's ever been to sell, right? Like out of everything we've ever sold, out of anything, there's no bigger upside, and this is the most fun, and this is the easiest thing to sell. So as far as all that pain, this pales in comparison to selling anything else. And people want to buy this. People want to have their life changed, and it's just all about duplication.
Absolutely. So when you get good at buyers, there's a level of freedom and excitement. When you're new, I call it drunk on real estate. You're like, oh my gosh, if I want to make more, I just work harder, be smarter, be savvy, think on my feet, hustle, be quick, Johnny, be nimble, whatever. And then you do that. But then you go like, okay, I'm selling 40, 50 homes a year, 34. I want to become a listing agent. Then you figure that out. Then that's it. You just work, right? And so we're telling you, if once you figure out how to sponsor agents, and there's a point where it just clicks. There was a point, Curtis, I don't know about you, where I did not have confidence on how to get sellers to call me who were thinking about listing. I didn't know how to get listing leads. And then I didn't know how to really appraise their homes. I wasn't confident. And what's my home worth? I wasn't confident in telling them. And then I didn't have the courage to ask for price reductions when I needed them. And there's just like a whole process you go through. Were you ever that way when you just weren't confident and you would go up at a listing and lose to a 20, 25, 30-year RE/MAX or Coldwell Banker agent? They would kick your butt. I mean, that happened to me. Did it happen to you at all when you started with listing?
No, it absolutely happens. And it forces you to go back and reevaluate and just say, okay, where do I need to get better? In that for sure. Right. And this is a different game in that a lot of times from an ego standpoint, and I know you'll probably talk about the ego, but when you're out on a listing appointment, they're really judging you, right? Do I like Curtis? Am I trusting him to handle my home sale? And to a certain extent, that's what other agents are doing too, is like, do I want to partner with Curtis? Do I want to partner with Brent? Do I want to partner with Rob or Andy or anybody else like that, that you're talking to? But this is the coolest thing in that they're not just choosing you, they're choosing the company, but then they're also choosing you and then your partners and 7 tiers of other partners that it's easier to sell. Like when I was first starting, it's easier for me to sell Brent and what Brent was doing than to sell myself as a partner. And that's what we all have the opportunity, is that we're selling not just ourselves, but we're selling ourselves as part of something bigger. And that becomes easier than just going on a listing and selling ourselves.
Man, you're hitting on a great point. People may meet you and then they may go, yeah, maybe not. But when you say, oh my gosh, you got to meet Curtis, you got to meet Brent, you got to meet Jay, you got to meet Jeff, you got to meet, and man, they've helped me so much, and they will help you. They will absolutely help you. The last 7 agents I signed up, the last 3, I signed up 2 agents this month. It was Brent played a huge role, or Curtis, or whatever you could say that's true. And then like, okay, I want to meet this person who can help me. Because they may not believe in you, but they might believe in us. And when we were new, you hit on the head. I wasn't selling me. I was selling Rob and Sheila and Gene. And so when I was a Keller Williams team leader, I'd go meet people for coffee for the first 3 months. Nobody would join. Nobody. And they just saw me at a Starbucks. When I started bringing them to events, and now we have Zoom events and different things, and got them in front of other superstar Keller Williams agents, the people sponsor the people. And so I made it about them and about our business planning clinic, or about our goal setting event, or about this or that. So make sure you're putting on goal. What do I know about goal settings? I don't know, but I bet Curtis does. Ask him to speak at your goal setting event. What do I know about business planning? I don't know, but I bet Sean Kokoska does. He'll do a bit. Sean would do that. He was the president of MAP Coaching. Yeah, he was a coaching called Icon Coaching. And he would probably speak at your business planning clinic. And then what if you only got 20 or 30 agents there from RE/MAX and Section 1 and Coldwell Banker, because you called them and said, do you have a business plan? Do you look at it every day? Do you operate off a business plan? Well, no, I don't. You need one. I have the president of MAX Coaching doing a very small, high-level business planning clinic, and I'm going to invite you to be a part of it. It's a very expensive. I'm going to scholarship you, my treat. And then any materials that, Sean, if it's 30, 40 bucks a person, spend it. There's different ways to do it. Shawnee can do it where there's no cost at all. But when people knew I was investing, I actually used the word scholarship. I got in those events, and then guess what? I remember one time I had 33 guests and 22 signed up the next month. How'd you like to put 22 on your front line? You only need 40. And you are one event away from doing that. This business is owned by people who can promote. So create an event, create a listing workshop. Hey, when's the last time you've been to a listing workshop? 2 years ago. How's your listings going? Okay. How'd you like it to be phenomenal? How'd you like it to be incredible? Well, yeah. I go, come to our listing workshop. I have Brent Conley teaching the listing workshop. Brent Conley has done X. Curtis Johnson's done X. Well, they're not my group. Ask them to speak at your group. They'll speak for you. Ask people. You can create events and then get people there. Even if you only had 15 people at the listing, how to list 30 homes in the next 12 months workshop. And let's say you only get 15 there, and then 10 of them sign up on your front line in a month. So you guys can do this, and you can get better. I suffered at listings. Honestly, Curtis, I'm embarrassed to say this. Once I committed to it, honestly, I didn't commit to it till like 10 years into my career. But once I committed to it, I got pretty dang good in 2 years. Not 2 months, it took me 2 years where I go, if I go on this listing appointment, I'm going to get it. I'm going to leave with the signed listing agreement. I know what they could do to get them to sign the listing agreement that doesn't sound pushy or slimy. So it's pretty funny. Hey, Ray, I think your head's all jacked up out there. You got to hit the space bar to lock your head in place once you get it where you want it. Anyways, okay, so Curtis, so you sponsored 60 people. What were some of the things you did? And if you guys have a question, type it into the public chat bar, okay? By the way, I just read some of their comments on you. They think that your income and what you've done is pretty amazing. So if you have a question for Curtis, type it in the chat bar, but I'm going to do the first question. You signed up 60 people. Obviously, you are successful, and you now have 2,600, and you probably make close to $2 million or over $2 million in the next 12 months. So, which is the upper 0.1% of income earners in America, not just the world, right? So, what did you say to people? Like when you first started, when you were where everyone is out in this audience, how did you do it? What'd you do?
People don't really like the answer, but I talked to you for over a year before I joined.
Yep.
And even before you started, and kind of watched your progress, and really just modeled that. But really, close to when I was deciding to come, we had a lot of discussions, and I just kept asking you. I asked you a lot of questions, but one of them was the same one, in that, hey, is this real? Does this really work? And tell me the stats, tell me the numbers as far as how many people do I need to talk to or show this overview, and then kind of like what's the funnel, right? How does that work? And then once I understood the numbers, I knew, I'd spent a lot of time with you, and I knew I wasn't you as much. I love your energy, but I'm not a great recruiter. I'm really not. But I knew that I could introduce people to it, and I could introduce them to watching the 30-minute overview. And really, that was my only strategy, was, okay, I'm going to go talk to people. Just if people seem interested in what I'm doing, which I figured if I could spark curiosity, they would be. And then I would just have them watch the overview, and then I would get them on with you or Jay or any of the other partners. And that was really it. Like, everybody wants to say, when I first started, I thought, okay, I'm going to have to redo the videos. I'm going to, do all these things. But actually, the people that have grown the biggest have created the least. In my opinion, they model the most, right? That everybody comes in and they feel like they've got to redo everything, where you don't. You need to plug in and use what you've got. And over time, you might build a little bit of things, but I've never even cut a new video. I use your video. I use the model I use, and I won't talk with anybody until they've gone through and watched it. And it pretty much does most of the heavy lifting, and then it's about, they want to kick the tires and see if it's a good fit. I've got a team, which gives me an advantage because I can bring people on that that maybe would struggle on their own. But it's the same process. Everybody wants to look for the secret sauce, and that's the secret sauce. You introduce them, you have them watch it. They're either interested or they're not. And then when they are, it's just the most fun ever.
I love it. Hey, real quick, just for fun, Frank Crandall's out in the audience. I saw him there. Frank, how many people have you sponsored now? Like 20, something like that? Frank, you got to unmute your mic. About how many you sponsored? About 20?
Yes, sir.
And how many you got in your group now? 150, 180? What do you got?
318.
Woo, baby. Congratulations, Frank Crandall. Was a regional manager for Remax, and now he's killing it at EXP. And then we got Dan Hillsman from Georgia, Atlanta. Dan, unmute your mic real quick. How many people have you sponsored now? Like 20, 25? What do you got?
Yeah, 37.
Oh, wow, 37. All right,
Yep.
awesome. And then you're from Atlanta, right?
That's correct. 260. Total
You're
line.
at 260. I remember when you were at 60 and 70, you're like, is this going to work? And I'm like, hang in there, Dan. Now you're at 260. So here's a cool thing. Like, I'll take Dan's a great example. What you are now is typically what you'll make in the next 12 months. So you should make about $260,000, over $250,000 in revenue share this next 12 months. If you're starting with 260, that's just my Brent Gove formula of what I've noticed. And so how many agents in Atlanta will have an extra $260,000 of cash flow next to their home sales to reduce their mortgage? Can you chunk down your mortgage with an extra $250,000 a year income, Dan?
Yes, sir. And while I've got the floor just for a second, I'm a big Curtis Johnson fan.
Right on.
That's funny, because I was actually gonna say Dan is probably the epitome of consistent effort, right? He's not in my group, but I watch him every month. He posts where he, hey, this is where I'm at for accountability. And everybody talks about it, but he actually walks the walk, right? I remember talking to him right when he was first starting, and he said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And he's consistent. There's so many people that are consistent for 3 weeks and then they just give up on their dream. Just watching what he's doing, he's impacting lives, but every single month, he just is like it's like the Chinese water torture, just consistent drip, 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 drip. And he's just killing it. And just love to see good people like that win.
Yeah. And so here's the deal, Dan and Frank. You each have hundreds of people in your group. It's no longer about you. Roll up your sleeves, help your group grow. You're going to 2,000, and you'll make well over $1 million a year. And like Curtis, 2 million. You know, you would have to invest to make 2 million a year. Curtis, you ever figure that out? What you'd have to have at a 5% rate of return?
What's it, about 18 million?
Yeah, it's about $20 million invested to make 2 million cash flow, I believe, at a 5% rate of return. So, because 10% would be, 10% would be, that's a 10% maybe. But you get the idea. It's still amazing. And that's if you got a 10% rate of return. 10% of 10 is $1 million. Yeah, so it'd be the 10%. To get 10% of your money is pretty dang good. So that's awesome. Hey, real quick, I see that we have Curtis Stillwell in the audience. Curtis, how do I say your last name, Curtis?
Just like it's spelled,
I'm sorry, man. I messed up your last name.
Oh, good,
so,
brother.
Curtis, real quick, how many people have you sponsored?
Personally, only 25.
Okay, and how many in your group?
759.
Woo! So you're looking real good. And the other trick is you need to be over 25. Unlock your 6 levels for what I'm saying to work. It will work, but not as well if you don't have at least 25. You don't need to be 40, but you do need to unlock 25. You make about $750,000 in the next 12 months, next 12 months, Curtis, as long as you have those 6 levels unlocked. And same with you, Frank and Dan. But pretty exciting stuff, huh, Curtis?
No, it's amazing. And to be totally honest, when we very first joined, me and Mark Z, we came out to Arizona 6 weeks in and met with you guys. I didn't know either one of you guys, and it was the most amazing thing. And it was kind of what you say, go to an event and it just changes your life, because I listened to you, and then I sat and had dinner with Curtis and his wife, and we had a little meeting, and I just asked him, what do you do? And he hadn't even got to 1,000 yet. He was doing the same thing. And he just said, be consistent, make sure your calls every day, follow Brent's example and use Brent's video, and then just give them the 4 pillars of what the company's about and make it simple, make it about them. And it's worked out phenomenal.
That's awesome, buddy. I love it. So, and thank you. So, Curtis, we've got about 5 minutes left here. We got to wrap up. So you literally just started calling people you knew and asking them to, say, you had to hear about what EXP, what do you know? And how did you engage them? Like, give us a little bit more on that.
I got to be honest with you, man. I called probably in 2.5 years, I've probably called less than 20 people I do Facebook Messenger a lot, and I mostly, kind of like I just try to model what you did. I just try to keep in touch with people and just go, how's everything going?
Well, that's not what I did. I called about 250 people.
Okay, that's not true. I should
never
say
used Facebook Messenger. So I'm interested in what you're saying. There's other ways to do this. So I've never ever used Facebook Messenger. Like if you Facebook message
I should say maybe not the process, but I would say you just kept in touch with me as a person, right? And you didn't treat me like a number, like, hey, obviously I'd ask questions. I'd be like, hey, how's it going, Brent? How's your group? And you'd share. And that's really, I think, what people need to understand is just go love on people. Just go talk to them. Just go care about them. And if you're winning and happy, people are going to be curious.
Yeah. So I'd call Curtis just to check up on him. And he'd have to pull EXP out of me. Well, tell me how it's going. And then I'd share a little bit. And I go, so how you doing? He goes, fine. Now tell me, how many of you sponsored now? And we'd end up talking for like an hour or 2 hours. I missed one time we joked from like Santa Cruz to Sacramento, like 2 hours on a Friday night. I've been golfing all day. Ed Stroop in the car with me. We just talked and talked. And it took him a year to come. He was one of the original 8 people I called. I thought of Curtis immediately. He just wasn't ready to merge his company. But I'm curious, you said you use Facebook Messenger. I don't even really know what that is, but you send people a little message. Give us an example. If you were to call Dan Hillsman out in Atlanta, how would you use Facebook Messenger to interact with Dan? Did you know Dan? Did you have some sort of connection? And then what would your little Facebook Messenger be?
So I would do this. People that I was interested in, I would tag them in Facebook and on their, you can give people tags that only you see, and that would be people that I wanted to be in business with. And I would send them friend requests. I would just follow them. I would get to learn about them, learn about their family, learn about their business. I would like their posts. I would make comments. And over time, Facebook would, when you start commenting on their posts, Facebook assumes that you're friends and they start showing your stuff to them. And so you start to become aware of them and you get in their world. And then you can, over time, maybe send them a message. Hey, I saw, you were, you look for things that are common. I saw you went to this football game. I saw that you just closed this massive luxury home that looks awesome. How was it? How did you do it? And you just start to become friends with them. And then, friends want to work together. That's really what it is. If you go into it trying to trick people, they're going to feel that. If you just go in and say, hey, I want to make more friends. I want to learn about them. And I've got something that's so amazing that they probably would be interested if they could learn about it. And they usually will bring it up. So rarely would I bring it up, or maybe I just say, hey, I'm doing this class this week. I thought you might be interested if you can pop on. And you just share from a place of abundance.
Or I'm attending this class, because not everyone has the skill set.
Absolutely.
To put a class on. So you say, I'm attending this class by Curtis Shewell or by Frank Crandall. Frank does classes all the time. Or by Dan or Curtis Johnson or Brent Gove or whoever. Invite people. I'm going to this and their stuff. And I would not invite people to classes in the world. I personally think it's bizarre and weird. The world's the last thing I show people. I don't build people avatars. I don't give them guest passes. I want them to have nothing to do with the world until they sign up. That's me. And they can be recruited in the world. They'll walk up to somebody and they may recruit them away from you. I think it's like having a listing and sending them to a real estate expo with 10,000 agents. Good luck keeping that listing if you don't have a signed contract. I wouldn't do that. Isn't that a fair point, Curtis?
I had never thought about it like that, but yeah, I'm not, I love the EXP world for what it is, but it's one of the last things I go over with people for sure as well.
It was one of the reasons I was really pushing back, because I'm not a gamer. I don't like cartoon figures, don't watch cartoons. And so it was almost a speed bump for me. So don't think that's a good thing. Most people I spend very little time. I say, I tell them about it. And then once they're super, super excited, then I do share my screen. I don't build them an avatar. I don't want them walking around the world. I don't know who they're going to talk to. They go in and they follow me, and I go, hey, I got 3 people with me, 13 people with me. I'm doing a quick tour of the world, but I'm in control of how it's going down. If things get weird or I made a weirdo, I don't sit there and talk to them. Oh, gotta go. We got a schedule to keep. Bam. Sometimes you'll meet somebody or whatever, but I make sure I'm in control of their experience, and it's a good one. So I want to say that. But it's interesting, Curtis, it sounds like you approached your business very differently than I did as far as, like I didn't like anybody's posts. I'd never comment on anything, rarely. And I think it's great. I'm not putting him down. I think there's other ways to do this. And being in relationship, I literally was just very direct. I called over 200 people at the rate of 5 to 7 every Friday, bump into people during the week, 2, 3, 4, 5 during the week. As the opportunity presented itself, I presented the opportunity. So you add up those numbers, and I easily did. I'm sure it was, well over 250 that I called and said, "Oh my gosh, Curtis, remember when I called you about EXP? Curtis, oh my gosh, what do you know about EXP?" And then we started talking, and it takes a while. So that is how I approached it, and neither way is wrong. But then I always refer them to the webinar. I would love your opinion. It's short and brilliant. Love your opinion, short and brilliant. Well, you want me to come to EXP and leave? No, Curtis, stay at Coldwell Banker for 30 years. I just want your opinion. I want to know if it's relevant in Phoenix, if this is a relevant model for Boise, Idaho, for Miami, for Manhattan. If you think people in Seattle would the agents and brokers, you're one of the only agents in there, I really need your opinion. Oh, you want me to tear it apart? I want you to tear it apart because I'm thinking about putting a lot of time, energy, effort, money. I don't want to make a mistake. You're my friend. Save me from making a mistake. And it's not, you get the feel. I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll watch it. Couldn't hurt. Famous last words. Couldn't hurt. But I had 30 people a month watch it, 5 joined. 25 said no. You guys focus on the people who said no. I focus on the ones who said yes. Massive action, good attitude. Everybody loves it. That's kind of what I did. Curtis, any final bit of advice when you for people here if they're really wanting to break through and kind of figure out, reaching out to agents and sponsoring them? Any one thought or two that could really help them with the breakthrough?
I would say two thoughts, right? One is you're never gonna recruit somebody until you're sold, right? You're the first one. So if you're wishy-washy, nobody wants to join wishy-washy. Convert yourself. That means fall in love with the company, fall in love with everything about the company. Most people that are trying to recruit, I found, don't have a clue about the company. They don't even understand what it is. So I'd say go watch Brent's video every day for a week at least, so you can understand the language of what that is. And then when you're sold, like right now, I'm so sold on this. If someone were to come talk to me and say, "Oh, I wouldn't want to join that company. I wouldn't want to join EXP because they've got different levels of this or whatever it is," I would say, you know what? I would be terrified, knowing what I know now, to join any company that doesn't have 7 people that are financially aligned with me, that are begging for my career for me to be successful. And so instead of like them going, well, beware of going to that. I'm like, I would beware of going to any company where the only person making money is a broker that isn't really that committed. I want as many people caring about my career and helping me win and willing to open up their playbook and give me everything they've got. I want as many people on my side as possible. And if I've got 7 people or even 10 people that are financially in business with me, but a different company pays, that's what I want. If I could have 15 people that cared about my business, I would, especially if I didn't have to pay them. It's a no-brainer, and I'd be terrified to work anywhere but here.
I love it. Curtis, you're amazing. This is great. The comments people have loved, by the way. I was reading all the comments here. You're a master, bro. Hey, real quick, I saw Michelle Saward's in here. Michelle, unmute your mic real quick, just for fun. Michelle, are you there? You still there? Michelle Saward, you still here?
She's probably on her new boat she just bought.
I know she bought a boat. She says she's on, but apparently she can't talk. She typed I am. Okay, in the chat box, since your mic's not working or whatever, how many have you sponsored, Michelle? And have you sponsored so far? And she's only been with us about a year, 24. And then how many, look at the chat box, you guys. How many in your group now? You got like 80, 100? How many in your group? Whoa, 296. See, sponsoring.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll make $250,000. That's exciting. Next 12 months, no problem, maybe more. So very cool. So real quick, everybody, Curtis, over here past you, if you turn around, you see the Hold the Gold tickets. If you guys click on that, it actually shows you, if you don't do it now, but I'm moving my little head here. If I look up there, if you look up at the top right, there's a magnifying glass. If you click on that, and you got to, it'll bring you in close, square it all up. And then if you click it again, it'll take you off it, but you can scroll down through it. Everybody right now, click on the magnifying glass to the left of the screen, click, and you're all scrolled up with golden ticket, hold the gold, then scroll down with your fingers. It shows you all the benefits of holding on to your ticket for next year. It saves your spot. You get half off our mastermind in the tropics, by the way. Looks like we're going to Cabo San Lucas. It should be open by then. So it looks like Cabo in February, half price instead of $397, $197.
You'd have to be crazy to not hold your spot, wouldn't you?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like, wouldn't that, you'd be certifiably insane.
People are. We've only maybe had 10% ask for a refund. They probably needed the money. It's all good. Breakfast with Glenn at next year's event, especially for golden ticket holders. A free copy of my new book, Build, which will be out in time for Christmas. And all your kids want a copy. Ha ha. And so there's ordinance. But here's the deal. Hit the magnifying glass again. There's also a video there you can see where I explain it. So that'll bring you off it. Now, we're doing, go over here to the right, walk all the way over, follow me, you guys. And then right here, Curtis, come on over by me, see if you can make your way over, back up the stage. So I'm doing the same thing. Let me unlock my head, pivot up, click on the magnifying glass, bam. So now it's right up in front of me. I can see, whoops, I'm not sure what I did. I zoomed in, how funny. Okay, I just tapped it with my mic. So if you look at the bottom right, we've had a lot of people going, well, I never bought my ticket. Now the event's canceled. Get a ticket. We're going to do ticket sales through the 24th. That is this, Friday, I think? Through this Friday. Then we're going to shut ticket sales down till January of next year. Because a lot of people go, well, I want to do all these hold the gold benefits. Buy a ticket. You can get one for $297. The general admission $197 sold out. The $297 will sell it. So you might as well get it for next year, but you're going to get the book. And by the way, our Explosive Growth Summit starts September 9th, 16th, and 23rd. And then we're going to have a special, huge one in October you can bring guests to. We're going to have Glenn Sanford, Jason Gessing, Dave Kennord, some of the biggest players in the company talking about their experience in the history of EXP. Be very inspiring for your guests. They'll want to join. So that is, but the first, put it in your calendar, September 9th, 9 a.m. Pacific. Let's put Pacific on there, Rob, because we have people on from all over the country. And so that, again, that is 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern. We're making that change right now. And so if you want a ticket, we will not sell tickets past this Friday. So once you don't have a ticket, that's it. We're not letting other people attend this stuff. This is a true benefit to you. The people who go to Cabo in February will pay $397 a person. Some pretty cool stuff. Anyways, that's it. Went a little over today. Curtis, you're the man. Thank you. Come on back to the front with me. Thank you for being on, and I appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, man.
You bet. We'll see everybody. Take care. And Curtis, come on up. Can you stick around for a couple minutes, or do you got to bail?
I can stick around for a minute.
Okay, Curtis is going to stick around. Come on up with me. We'll walk down here off the stage, and we'll come down here. Oops, I went too far. And then come on down here by me in the front. And then Curtis is going to stick around for a minute or two and answer any questions. Come on over here, Curtis. And so I can't stick around, but I'm going to volunteer. So if you have a question, walk up to him, and you can grab him for a minute or two and ask a question.